welcome back. WeArEuS, and this is clearly not Elden Ring. Now, you may be asking yourselves, why? Where's Elden Ring? You promised Elden Ring would take this slot. Ooh. Well, have I got a story for you? It'll take a while to cover, but I hope that you guys will stick with me until it's done, so you can fully understand just the extent of my pain. Now, of course I have Elden Ring. Of course I have, after some time, played Elden Ring, but it didn't start out so well, and even now it's not looking good. So, from the beginning, I've been waiting the past 2-ish days. I'm recording this on Friday, just so we're clear. I've been waiting the past 2-ish days for this game to come out. I would have had something up for, I think it was Thursday, that I didn't have a second video. I don't remember what happened there, but I'm not going to bother trying to make any excuses for it. There's no video on Friday, today, second video, because I actually waited the entire day just for Elden Ring to come out. I quickly knocked out the recording for, what is the name of that game? For Noctis, Aeterna Noctis. Got that knocked out, thumbnail done, had it all squared away, so I would have nothing but time to get everything in place for Elden Ring. First problem comes about. My hard drive is apparently crap because it took about, I want to say 4 hours. I had the game preloaded since the 23rd. So I was ready to go as soon as the game was, launched. So once they actually launched the game, all it had to do was unpack, right? Simple matter. Shouldn't take that long. It took probably 4 hours. I watched so many videos in between. I lost track of time. I'm going to chalk that one up as my fault because I've had this problem for as long as I've been using this particular hard drive to put games on. So that set me back way more time than I was expecting. Heck, for a few minutes, the unpacking just froze. So that also added to the sheer frustration of everything else that followed. From there, once the game was finally unpacked, I was looking at it being about 8 o'clock. I was done recording Aeterna Noctis probably around 2, and I've been sitting there waiting for what was its face to come out until about 6 for me. So unpacking finally gets done. It's really late at night already, which means I've got to hump it in order to get the game recorded, edited, rendered, uploaded. Then I have to get a thumbnail ready, which means I have to search on the internet for resources to slap together to make something that looks pretty nice with my particular style of thumbnails. And that takes literal hours for the first time. And then after that, once I've got the template set, it's easy, it's smooth sailing. So I've got all of this in my head already, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to upload this video for today, but I'm fully willing to try, even if it means working well into the night, and well into tomorrow morning, as it was at the time. Little did I know the spectacle that I would behold upon trying to launch this game. Now, my entire intention was to launch the game, start recording, and then see how it played from there. I wasn't even going to actually upload what I recorded at the time. I was going to play some of the game. Just thinking about it's giving me a headache. I was going to record the game while playing just to see how it performed. Then I was going to watch the video back to see if it was even acceptable and see if I needed to change some settings. Lo and behold, my first experience launching the game. Infinite black screen. I say, okay, I hear you. So I close OBS because I know it tends to be a bit of a drag in these situations. And then I go back into the game. I head directly to the options to turn them down. Well, I first have to close it, which turns out to be a nightmare because apparently the game starts in 1280p. So my entire desktop had to be resized once I closed the game. So that's an extra 2 minutes of waiting before I can relaunch the game, try and hope I get into the game. And then once I actually do get the game launched again, pure black screen. I don't know why. I don't know what's at the beginning of the game when you launch it, because I see nothing but black, and I just let it sit, hoping that I haven't wasted my time. Hoping against hope that this isn't going to be one of those releases. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, for me, what was the name of that game? Cyberpunk 2077. For me, that ran like trash, but I could get the game to load. It was bad. The frame rates were terrible, and thank God they aren't. I don't know if they published the game themselves or not, but whoever their publisher is, thank God they have the decency to see GeForce Now as the resource that it is, because without that, I wouldn't be able to play that game. Now, getting back to Elden Ring, it's pretty bad. So I let it sit. After a while, I cannot tell you how long, because if I tried to sit there and time it, I might have gotten upset. So after a while, there's a white flicker at the bottom of the screen. If there's some sort of intro movie that's supposed to play, I've never seen it. So there's a white flicker, and like a minute after that, the Bandai Namco and From Software things play. And then that's pretty much it. Finally, I'm at the main menu. I get through all of that crap, and I go straight to the options to try and turn everything down. get everything situated in the way I like, and I go to change the screen. I don't remember what the proper term for it is, but I go to change the screen size, not the screen size, that'd be full screen window. The game starts, as I said, at 1280p. I think it's 1280 by 700 or something like that. And while you guys wouldn't notice a difference, to me, playing the game, it'd be awful. Easily the worst experience since playing near Replicant. Where was I? Right. So I'm sitting there trying to change the aspect ratio of the game, and it won't let me. I keep clicking on it, scrolling down to 19 something by something, which is my usual aspect ratio, and it just says no and stays at 1280p. At this point, I'm a little frustrated. I can't change it from full screen either, just so we're clear. It won't go to windowed. Oh well, I never tried windowed, but that was never going to happen anyway. I tried switching it to borderless windowed, hoping that that'd reset things and make it switch the aspect ratio, or allow me to switch the aspect ratio. No, it wouldn't do that either. To this moment, I still don't understand how it actually started to work again. But after I restarted the game a couple of times, it finally started. It finally allowed me to change the aspect ratio. How kind of it. Anyway, once I finally got that done, I was fine leaving the multiplayer on. I was fine leaving the multiplayer thing on. Sure, why not? It'd be fun. Let's see what it's like. Nope, can't even do that, because in between, if you head back to the title screen for any reason, at least for me, the game will lock you out, saying your frame rate is unstable. It's too unstable for multiplayer. And so, it locks you out of even being able to change your settings. It won't let you leave the title screen. It will not let you leave the title screen to change your settings, so multiplayer isn't in effect, or so that you're not playing quote unquote online. So after running into that blue ball, I have to restart the game, which by this point I'm probably about an hour in on playtime, supposedly, and I've gotten nothing done. I've literally only seen the title screen and the options. So I have to restart the game, which still isn't letting me resize it. So I then have to subsequently wait for my desktop to reset to its normal size. And then once I get it loaded again, I have to go to the options and turn off online play, because Somebody thought it would be a good idea to prevent you from being able to turn that off in a more convenient manner. I am genuinely confused as to why anyone would think it's a good idea to lock someone out of a game based on their settings and then not let them into the menu to change those settings so they'd be able to play the game. But I mean, I'm not a developer, so I mean, I can't possibly question their raw genius, right? Anyway, so I finally get all of that done. Eventually, I'm able to change the aspect ratio to whatever the frick it is now that I like. And I move on to actually starting the game, which means I get to look at all of the classes and have no idea what the difference is between any of them. I don't know. I've seen plenty of Dark Souls playthroughs, just plenty of them. Mostly by the same guy, probably only by the same guy, but I've seen plenty of them. I don't know if it has this class screen at the beginning or not, and it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying all of these options and nothing I'm seeing makes any sense. Like, usually it tells you what the class's specialty is, but no. You have to actually select the class, then go to Origin to even find out how the class plays or what their unique thing is. And even then, it's only implied. It's not laid bare. For example, there's the Prophet. It says they're, what's the term? Because I don't remember what it said exactly. It's been way too long. Way too long. So basically it says that the prophets are skilled healers. Okay. Now I know that means they use spells and they're good at healing. But what about the confessors? It says they're spies for the church. And that's about it. Based on their stats, I can infer that they can use magic. I don't remember. I was mostly wanting to play what I really wanted to play since the last game I played, the last game I played, what was the name of it? Revenant something Revenant. In that game I mostly used heavy weapons because, well, they were just better. And in rare cases I would use one-handed weapons and a shield, mostly because of the DPS that you could get out of it if you canceled your animation, but that's a whole other thing. So in that game I mostly used heavy weapons. I was of a mind to be a dual wielder. Still am, to be fair. To be a dual wielder, which is probably going to make the game a little harder, who uses spells on occasion. Not primarily, but on occasion. But nothing I'm seeing tells me if the class I'm looking at is going to be conducive to the playstyle I want. It shows their weapon loadouts and like an item they may have or something, but none of it tells me anything. Can I be a dual wielding maniac who casts spells with the confessor because I actually like the look of them? I don't know. And as it stands, I don't remember their stats. They had a sword and shield, so I have to assume, you would assume they would have high strength, so they wouldn't be good for dual wielding smaller weapons like daggers. Then there's the warrior. I actually like the look of the warrior too, but they're using two They're dual wielding swords, but they have low strength and high dexterity. I'm confused. Swords are supposed to be based on strength, and like ranged weapons and smaller weapons, I think, are supposed to be based on dexterity, right? And naturally, the bandits had, actually, I think the bandits, no. The bandits probably had higher dexterity, but only barely. I hardly remember anything about it. But anyway, I go ahead and choose the Confessor class because, well, it looks cool, even if it's not going to be good for what I want as a playstyle. So I go ahead and choose the class. Then I get to it. I select the keepsake or whatever it is, which, let's be honest, I've tried two of the keepsakes. The one that gives you runes, which is basically your spirit or souls in this game. And I've also tried the spirit summoning ash, which didn't work for whatever reason. I have no idea why, because it doesn't tell you how to use anything like that. It's just there. Anyway, I go ahead and choose the keepsake, and then I move on to character creation. Now, let me tell you about character creation. I'm a little bit addicted to character creation. I can spend hours, just hours, creating a character. I could spend an entire day just creating a character. Whew. When I played Phantasy Star or Phantasy Star Online 2 and I was creating a character, oh my god. I sat here for so long. Nevertheless, you also have the ability to choose a body template. Let's not get started on body type A versus body type B rather than just saying male or female. Because with some of the body templates, or basically the body templates give you nationalities and then specific facial structures, because as far as the bodies are concerned, they're all just the exact same. So it gives them different facial structures, and that's about it. And like with I think it's the Draconians, they have like ash gray skin, which is interesting until you see their face, which looks like it's melting. Well, not actually melting, but like it's been fried. Now, this would be fine if it weren't for the fact that some of them, I've only actually tested 4 of them. And the 4th one is the one I settled on because, good lord, I could not be bothered to try spending hours to fix the bridge of the nose of whatever the frick that race was. I think it wasn't. I think it was the aristocrats. It couldn't be. The aristocrats? Anyway, there's one particular body type or body template that has I don't even know how to actually explain this. Typically, the bridge of someone's nose goes inward as it approaches their forehead, then comes out with the eyebrow bridges, then sometimes slopes gently back, and then slopes with their forehead depending on the size of it, of course. But this particular template, they literally, their nose just goes straight up into their forehead, well, into their eyebrow ridge. And for the life of me, I could not. I tried everything. I could not get that to go away. If you were looking at her head on, oh, she was just lovely. She was magnifique. But for the life of me, I could not get her to look decent from the side. If you saw her from the side, you'd be wondering what the actual frick is going on with her face. But looking her straight on, you would notice. But my sense of aesthetics just won't allow me to let that go. I was under the illusion that I could fix it, that I could find a setting that would allow me to that would allow me to, what's the word I'm looking for? That there would be a setting that would allow me to pull that back so she would look better from the side. I tried everything involving the nose and the eyebrow bridge, and even the forehead and something else that started with a GL. Nothing worked. Anything that did affect it the way I wanted it to, did it to such a degree that it just ruined her. There was no in between. It was either she looks goofy from the side and fine from the front, or you just have to wreck her nose and deal with it. So I went with another one, and I think it was Aristocrat, which I made her a redhead and was like, this is actually pretty good, and went with that. Little did I expect that I would ultimately go ahead and just go with the wretched class, because from the looks of it, that would allow me to, 1, play the game the hard way, 2, build the character in the way I want, with the stats in the places I want them, and 3, dress them however I want, according to what I find, of course. So I go ahead, start the game as a wretched with the rune keepsake. It took so long for the intro to actually play, and then come to find out that it's, pseudo animated. And my computer really, really doesn't like that. It does not like that kind of stuff at all. So I also need to test if I can even do the cinematics that are like that. Further on in the game, the cinematics are like rendered in game, so it shouldn't be an issue. But for that one intro, it's probably going to be pretty bad if I ever actually try to record the game. But once I go ahead and skip the intro though, because I don't want to actually see it until I record it, right? The time it took for me to actually get to see the intro after having selected, yes, this is the character I want, was nothing compared to what would follow. So that was just more waiting. Thank goodness people were still making video. I was watching YouTube at the time, because that's pretty much all I watch now. And I was just watching YouTube videos the entire time. So I completely lost track of time most of the time. But when you're watching like 15, 30-minute videos and you're still waiting, you know it's bad time. So that's what we had happening. Now, once I did get into the game, we were indoors, so the frame rate was fine. You know? Fine. It was doable, acceptable, fine. But I know that's just how it is indoors, since the engine doesn't have to actually process open fields or anything like that. Indoor areas are going to be like that. The frame rate was pretty freaking good. Now, the problem comes in where, since it's running fine, I'm like, okay, I go ahead, do some things, see how far I can stretch it. The first enemy, well, the first, I guess like the pseudo first boss that you come across that's designed to kick your head in, he doesn't actually spawn for like 1 or 2 minutes for me. I walked up to where he's supposed to appear from, except he doesn't appear. His health bar and name appear at the bottom of the screen as per usual, but there's no boss. Now, during all of this, I had been reading through the forums, the YouTube videos playing in the background, me reading through the discussion forums on Elden Ring, and apparently it is a clown show. You've got people complaining they can't play the game, it's unplayable, it's unacceptable, and then other people whining that these people are whining and they just have terrible computers. It's the usual thing you would expect. But also, there's this little bit of an issue where enemies can be invisible. So I was certain that was what was going on. So I'm looking at the ground for any hints of movement or dust being kicked up, and then boom, the boss drops right in front of me, right in the center of the plaza, I suppose you could call it. That was an experience. I was genuinely surprised. I'm not against being surprised, but this was surprising. So naturally, I'm fully expecting this guy to just kick my teeth in. And of course he did. I hadn't realized that the clicking in the right analog stick was the way to target him, but it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. I had no idea how the controls worked. So the only thing I had figured out was how to attack, light attack and heavy attack, and how to dodge roll. Nothing else from there, like two-handing or how to block. So, I also used the rune thing that once you crush it, it gives you runes. That's fine. I don't really care about that. So I did that, got my teeth kicked in. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler, but I'm not telling you anything specifics or whatever. I do that, get sent to the tutorial area. I go what apparently is the alternate way. There are 2 ways in the tutorial area you can go. You can learn about how to play the game, or you can get straight out into the world. And I went down the path that sends you straight out into the world. Once I get to the very end that leads to the door that leads outside, it's black, just pitch black. You can't see outside. It's just, I couldn't see outside. It was just a wall of pitch black. I was confused. I thought it would be a transition, so I went in, and apparently it's not. You just walk through the door and you're outside. That's weird, right? So I look back, I can see back inside, but when I rotate the camera again to see the other side of the door that leads outside, it's pitch black again. So I go back in, it's pitch black, I go back out, I'm outside. There's no transition. You're just going outside. And I'm confused. I'm a little afraid too, because that's not good. If we're having a small issue in such an irrelevant section of the game already, what other horrors are there in wait for me? I go back inside and I go and save. Now, instead of going back outside, I go back to the second path for the tutorial area. I get all of the tutorial stuff, which among which is the first, bonfire, which they call something else. I don't really care for it. But I get that done, move on. Then it starts talking about combat. I am afraid. It tells me how to lock on to enemies, and lo and behold, I click that right analog stick and there's an enemy I can't see. Now, I have since learned that there is a way you can see these enemies. But you need to be looking at them you need to be, one, right next to them, and two, you need to turn the camera at a very slight angle so they just barely show up. If any of you have actually played Genshin Impact, and you're men of culture, then you know what their censoring looks like when you're trying to look upward while climbing. And let's be clear, that's what it is. It's censoring. So when you're trying to look up while climbing, that is the exact same effect they use. That effect that you see is what happens when you're trying to see one of these enemies that are invisible. It works very barely. It's inconsistent. And it's hard to maintain. So I don't advise even trying at that point, but I kept going because basically they're training dummies that sometimes attack. I make it through, but apparently there's a boss at the end. And this guy can two-shot you at this point if you're playing Wretched, which I am. So I get two-shot by an enemy I can't actually see, and I only barely know their actual position in the world. And the particular points of this instance of combat is learning how to block and counterattack after blocking. But his attack pattern is... what's the word I'm looking for? It's... delayed. That's the word. He delays his attacks for a confusing amount of time, frankly. Like, he rushes at you and then just keeps rushing, and then he swings. So you can attack him in between, but then you get hit really hard. Now, to be fair, even a level 1 Wretched just bonks the guy really hard. If you use a heavy attack, that's 30% of his health gone for free. Well, I say free, but but the guy's invisible, so, and he uses sweeping and stabbing attacks. You can't get a read on what he's going to use because you can't see him. Granted, I go ahead and keep trying because, like, what else am I going to do? There is no fix for this. This is my life now. So I get it done, get the stuff for it, and there's like something at the end of the path from a body you can get. I don't remember what it was. I'm just completely flabbergasted that the game managed to make it to release like this. So as it stands right now, I spent 6 hours on the game, and I literally only have maybe 1 hour of actual gameplay under my belt. Now, I'm writing off the character oh, right, I actually didn't tell you guys about that, did I? I'm actually writing off the character creation because most of that time was spent trying to, yeah, if I told you about that, that would have led into why I was reading through the forums or the discussion board, whatever. During character creation, I don't know how I even skipped this part. When I moved on to the body templates, it wouldn't load the next one. It just wouldn't. So I sat there like maybe there's a delay because of the servers, because there are so many people playing, but I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But it wouldn't update to show me what the next body looked like. How am I supposed to make an informed decision if I can't see what the character's going to look like? So I say, screw it. I've waited too long. Let's move on. Oh, that's just it was unfortunate that things decided to go that way, because I went into the body details or whatever it was to, tweak the body and whatever just details of it that I could, only to find out on the right side of the screen is where the character would show up during the creation process. So you'd be able to see them, what they look like with their clothing, without their clothing, and a close-up of their face, which is really the only detail that actually changes in any significant way. On a side note, I'm going to say this. I don't know what the design team was smoking when they decided on the faces for women. But some of the women have 5 o'clock shadows. Well, some of the faces that are supposed to be for women, I guess, because there's no distinction between like masculine faces and feminine faces. That's all based on sliders that do, frankly, a terrible job at making any sort of difference between masculine and feminine faces. Where was I? Right. So on the right side of the screen is where the character shows up and, shows and updates in real time to show the changes you've made to them. Well, the first thing I tried to change was the hair, naturally. So I go through the hair options. There's really only 1 or 2, maybe 3. Okay, 3, maybe 4 that I actually liked. I went with the first one because, of course, I'm going to have hair hanging over her eye. Why not? So I do that, and I sit and wait to see what it looks like. The update never comes. I keep sitting and I keep waiting and I keep hoping and I keep waiting until I get bored and go back. And I go back and back until it's back where we were with the character creation. Well, at the very start of the class choice thing. And I realized it's just not updating at all. So I head over to Steam on my phone, naturally, because I'm not about to do that with my computer. So I head over to Steam to see what the deal is, see if anyone else is having problems, and lo and behold, no one else is having problems with character creation. They're just having problems with everything else. And I am both saddened and confused, because what is my problem then? I have no idea. I did ultimately manage to get it to update, but it's not real time. I'll make a change and then the game the character portrait will freeze and update and then show me what it looks like. That's pretty terrible, but it's what I've got. So that's how I ended up in the discussion boards, reading through all of the stuff and naturally finding out that enemies could be invisible. Thank goodness I knew about that, because I may have been more than a little upset if I had run into that without knowing. Granted, I went ahead and beat the tutorial area and said, okay, it runs decently, at least indoors, so let's see how well the game will run if I have OBS running and recording. So I start up OBS, have it recording to start with. I launch Elden Ring. The game launches in 1280p. My confusion is immense, because it's in 1900 or something. I don't really care. But I use a larger aspect ratio than that because the screen I'm using is huge, and it starts the game in 1280p even though I have full screen settings. I don't know. I don't know. But I go into the options. Try to where was it? I go into the options, try and reset them so that it's full screen again. And then I try to go and start a new game. I make a brand new character because I know all of the stuff that happens. I want to see how it operates from the very start. And it's not good. Because no, I didn't actually make a new character with that one. With that one, I tried loading the previous character I used, but it wouldn't load. And by wouldn't load, I mean I waited like 30 minutes. I watched an entire video or two, and nothing happened. So I said, okay, maybe we should try and create a new character, see if that works. I go back to the main menu, locked out because of unstable frame rates in online, because I can't have unstable frame rates in multiplayer. Can you guys guess Can you guys guess what wasn't active at the time? Yes, that's right. Online mode. It wasn't on. So why was I being prevented from accessing the main menu by a mode that wasn't active in the first place, that I had never turned back on? I don't know. So I had to close the entire game, relaunch it, naturally waiting for it to synchronize because, that's a whole thing. Then I had to relaunch the game, create a new character, just throwing options together, giving her whatever name just to get it done, so I could finally test if the game is even going to have a stable frame rate for recording. And lo and behold, once the character's created and we've moved on, just infinite loading. I'm trying to get this game up tonight, actually, and it is not cooperating. It utterly refuses to cooperate. It does nothing. I'm sitting and waiting and sitting, and it's doing nothing. And this is bad because the only other way to get this to work is to interrupt the game, launch OBS, start OBS, and do that while the game is already active. Which is kind of weird, right? Right? Like, I would have to load the game up, then launch OBS. Once everything is situated and apparently playing fine. I have to do a version of that to record this, but only because GeForce Now crashes otherwise. So I really don't know what to do about that. And just from that alone, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to even be able to record the game for the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a really rough time. Like, there was the first time when the issue with the door happened and it was just pitch black. I went all the way back to the beginning because I was just confused and terrified, only to find out that the ground was gone. Now, I didn't fall through the world or anything, thank goodness. That would have been just the cherry on top. But for whatever reason, once I interacted with the, let's just call it what it is, the bonfire, I checked all of the options that were available for it, got back up, went back to the way I came. The ground was missing. All of the stuff that went on top of it was still there, but the ground was gone. There was nothing to be seen. Not even the lower level that leads to the tutorial area. I was confused and afraid. But I walked forward anyway just to see what would happen. I was sure I was going to fall through the world, but nope. Somehow that's the one thing that didn't happen. This time. Now, when I turned the camera around, the walls were missing. Now, when I went through the doorway, this is a different doorway. This leads to the bonfire from the starting area. Once I go through that doorway and turn the camera around, the walls are still there, but they're invisible from the opposite side. or see-through, however you like to put it. I don't understand what could have caused that. So I went back to the bonfire, tried. You have the option to pass time at the bonfire, so I just had it wait until morning again, and then I went back, but it was still missing. In my confusion, I rotated the camera a few times, and then, just for no reason at all, a square of light opened up in the ceiling. Now I was really afraid. So I just sat there and stared at it for a second, and then I noticed other things starting to appear. Nothing big, just rocks here, rocks there. Maybe a coffin here, coffin over there. And this continued until the entire environment came back into view, like it was loading for some reason. I don't understand how it could be like that, but it was like that. Now, after all of this was when I finally went down to the tutorial area. So I don't need to go over that again, but I think I have fully communicated just how much of a nightmare all of that has been. I wanted to have that up, what is yesterday for you guys, as well as today and tomorrow. I just wanted to have nothing but Elden Ring in this slot. But that's not looking like it's going to be possible. That game plays so terribly. Like, again, I haven't tried actually going outside, so I don't know what that's going to be like. But indoors, I can't even load the game with OBS running. And all of the time I spent, I really wanted to record and upload that game that day, the same day of release, but it wasn't having that. Again, it would have taken hours for me to craft a thumbnail that I was satisfied with, or I had the idea to just give it a simple screenshot thumbnail and call it a day for the first one, just so I'd be able to give myself time on the second video to craft a thumbnail that I would be happy with. But as things stand, I can't play the game while recording whatsoever. And by the time it's stable enough for me to even imagine being able to do that, everyone will have already seen the goddamn playthrough of the game. So I don't know if there's even a reason for me to try. And it's frustrating because I was really looking forward to playing that game on the channel, but AAA strikes again, I guess. Now, the only thing that's actually tempering my rage at this situation is the fact that I pretty much got the game for free. I only had to pay $8 something for it. Just $8 and some change. That's the simple thing that's keeping me sane right now. I unfortunately pre-ordered the thing because I wanted to make sure I got the deal that would make it that cheap, but to be clear, I also paid a significant sum of the cost of the game from a gift card I was given. So there's that. But I only actually paid out of pocket like $8 something, so it hurts less, but I'm still really upset about this. So if you guys are still here and if you've listened to this entire tirade, let me know what you think. Would you still be willing to, assuming I can get the game to play at a stable frame rate while recording, and I can figure out something to make it possible to play while recording, would you be interested in watching the playthrough of it? Because I'm probably going to end up making it harder than it needs to be. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But if anyone is interested, just let me know. I'm still going to try, but I don't think it's going to be worth trying to put in the effort. Well, at least that's out of the way now. And we're an hour in, so let's at least get you guys some story, shall we? Oh, also, you may notice that Aivu is slightly bigger than before. She is now big enough that Morrow can ride her. That's a good time. But the problem with that is she fights in let's put that aside for a moment. She fights in melee, but Morrow needs to cast spells, and they usually want to kill him, so putting him on the front line, even on her back, is dumb. Now, I think it could still work, but he is not. He is squishy. Like you poke him with your finger anywhere, it just goes. He's squishy. There's very little I can do about that. Now, him being able to mount her, means that he should be able to gain access to mount skills or feats that should make her stronger, or at least more durable, when mounted. At least that's the idea. Or at least that's what I'm thinking. But it's not like the mount feats make them hit harder or anything. It just makes them more durable, or gives them functions, whatever. Now, in addition to that, though, in addition to her increase in size, and therefore, the amount of damage she'll be able to do when she lands a hit, is she now produces an aura that grants everyone of her allies heroism. Yes, she produces a heroism aura. And that's just fine. It means we don't have to cast Good Hope from Morrow, or use heroism from from Ember, which is nice, because I don't know what other spell slots are being shared with heroism from her. I think Good Hope is still better, but I don't think it really matters. Oh, right. The final thing, well, no, actually there's something else on top of that. Of note is the fact that she now has the ability to use her dragon breath without hurting allies. You would think that would have come sooner, but no. They had to screw you for as long as possible until they gave you that. And it's not like you can pick any of these things. They just happen to her, or more accurately, one could assume she just chooses these things, which is weird. You would think you would choose to whatever. So she now can use Dragon Breath without hurting allies. Granted, they still roll reflex against it, which is the most retarded freaking thing, but that's just the game, I guess. Now, the final thing of note is that Aivu has the ability, has the Quicken meta magic. I've used this to quicken all of her buffs, or her self buffs, things that she'll be using in combat that would otherwise take up a turn. Now I'll be able to use as a swift action, and then still have her attack. Her Dragon Breath isn't included in that, unfortunately, but that's fine. Since, especially now, it's going to do some pretty heavy damage. Aside from that, she doesn't have anything of note that I can remember. So, we did pick up some extra gear. Oh, one other thing of note pertaining to Morrow. He doesn't have the thing we got from the Filth Queen because she's dead. Apparently I played it well last time I spoke to her and doing all of the knight stuff, or playing along as a knight, and I could have refused the gift without, incurring her quote unquote wrath, but I figured, why would I do that when I could get XP? So I got XP. And she happened to have some bracers that she was holding out on. I can't have people holding out on me. So I have those, even though I can't actually use them because everyone else has bracers that are much better for them right now. Life is hard when you're this good. Time to go. Let's make sure we haven't missed anything of notes. So many Merilith blades, abyssal salamanders. Anything else? These are trash. I don't want heads. It's just easier to do that. Oh, the Nexus. Right, I thought it was going to send us directly back to Galarian. Whoops. The body still smolders from the colossal blow of celestial powers inflicted by the Traveler by the hand of the Inheritor.
Let's have some fun.
I specifically had the Queen, or what was her moniker supposed to be? Lady in Shadow. I specifically had her bring assassins here because all of my people that are still... What the actual frick? Because all of my people that are still here have low levels. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd be fine with What's-Her-Face dying, but everyone else... Oh, see? Like, him and these two and him and her, that's a bad time. The Lady in Shadow's assassins were supposed to deal with this, and yet here we are. No sound. Good stuff. What the Stop doing that. Oh my god, this is actually cancerous. He whiffed 4 shots in a row? Why? I'm not even upset. That is impressive to be that trash. Thank you. At least there's someone that isn't a disappointment here. Oh, please tell me the assassins aren't going to be Garbo. This camp is under the... Okay. I really wish... This is annoying. There's nothing I can do here. Hey, they used Flame Strike. Good on you. Also, the audio is borked, and that's got nothing to do with me. There's nothing I can do here. I could hit the enter button, but maybe I'm hoping against hope that the camera will... Nope. I missed something interesting. Thanks, game. You actually kidding me? And you know what? I'm still less frustrated. They're even inside. Great. Oh my god. And as frustrated as I am now, I am still less frustrated. Stop that. I'm still less frustrated than I was trying to figure out, what's it called? Elden Ring. But only just barely. Hurry up. Zorg. Oh, that's the kid. Yeah, I would like him to not die, thank you very much. But Lan is all the way out of position. This guy has fairy fire because he's within 30 meters of him. Right, you guys don't know about that. The shield we picked up last episode, which may have been a long time ago for you guys. The shield we picked up last episode grants Sela, who is the only person that I actually can use the shield, the ability to produce a light aura that she can then pass on to allies. From there, the allies gain fairy fire on all enemies within 30 feet of them. That's actually pretty huge. That means no more needing to cast glitter dust or anything similar. Still, let's do this. He hit him for 56. That's a number. I should have had him... if I put him on Ivu now, she loses her turn. I would love to make life as difficult for these guys as possible, but there are also allies out here somewhere. Wait, I could have just had her use the teleport wand? Or something. Anyway, frick. I don't know what to do about the kid. Especially since I don't frickin' control him. What am I supposed to do? Like, I can't even target him in there. There he is. I don't know. Weird. This guy is even closer to what's his face, and he should be under the effect of fairy fire, but he's not. Weird. I'm trying to think about how I should get this kid out of there because... Oh, he's got 522 health. Holy crap, he's stronger than everyone else is. Let's make... Oh, we can't actually use that on him. That makes sense. I've got no idea. Oh, we can do this. But if I use the bolstered one... No, it'll be fine, right? Wow, that is a lot of freaking damage. Why did that hit so hard? It was bolstered. It had to have been bolstered. Yeah. I mean, not bolstered, but empowered. Yeah. That's why. Good lord, that is... Oh, it was empowered and maximized. That is gross. I like it. We're going back to the cave, folks. Just bear with it. Even through all of this game's bugs and the rest of the crap we've been dealing with, it has been so much more tolerable than dealing with Elden Ring. I genuinely can't communicate just how much. I guess we can go ahead and summon these. I could have tried to cast heal on the kid to give him an extra 150 HP, but like that's never going to actually help, so... And then we can get Ivu in there, but she won't be able to do anything. So we can use that, as you see. But since it's taking up a higher slot, I think it's level 5 now. Yeah. We have fewer uses of it. But it's super convenient because... Well... Oh, we can actually just keep moving her. Let's do that. From the looks of things, the enemies are only out here. But everyone else... I don't know why everyone else inside is being given turns. It's the strangest choice. I'm trying to get it. This guy's armor class is too high. We need to purge the ones that are easier to deal with right now. I don't know why the audio is bugged. But at least the game plays. And now they're affected by fairy fire. All of them. Let's move Lan up by 5 feet. Let's not do that. Make sure the first one's hit. Naturally, he missed the Cambion Defiler because the Cambion Defiler has 44 armor class. Once more from the top. How is the kid looking? Oh, he's fine. Doing dandy. I wish this wasn't a thing. What kind of heal can we use on... I'm just going to call the little tiefling Jorge because his name looks close enough to it. Oh, not now. And just like that, we are back. Super convenient, but weird that it keeps crashing like that. So Darren wanted to heal. Oh, it's possible. Nice. Yes, yes. Use up those mirror images. In the meantime, it appears that the WeArEuS are the only ones left. No, the Half-Fiend Defiler is still here too. Great. Good. One of them has run away. Yeah, hitting that guy is not going to be easy. I really wish this wasn't a thing. Jeez, he has 20. He has so many uses of this ability now. Hey, he got one. Sometimes one is all you need. I can't tell whether he's going to hit the Cambion. God dang it, this is awkward. Jorge's not doing so well. I'd like to keep him alive. Ugh. God. He's got about 185 left. The bolstered effect shouldn't kill him, but I'd really prefer that he not get dunked on like that in the first place. This... What does it even require? It doesn't say what... What does it check against? Or what saving throw do they have to roll against this? I'm not going to right-click it to see its immunities. I'd rather just kill the thing. I can deal up to 160 damage, so let's go ahead with that one. Unless it doesn't. Unless it just, you know, straight up doesn't. Weird. That's a wee bit frustrating. Okay. There we go. Hope you feel better, kid. They're going after the one that's running. Oh, good. The other guy died. The Defiler. Neat. What? Not even in range. Nice. So you can just... Oh. Well, it's not like Mara's going to be particularly useful, but he can try. Thankfully, she's probably going to put an end to this silliness. What? Excuse me? What the... Oh, the mind fog. Let's just not be anywhere near that. And we'll go with this. At least the kid is safe now. So... I've got nothing. Yeah, that's it. Now that I think about it, I could have had Morrow case. No, he couldn't have cast haste on everyone because he didn't get his turn until too late. Where you going, buddy? Running from Ivu? And then he gets his turn and we get to do this all over again. What? Oh, he did damage to himself. He did damage to himself and then killed himself. And for some reason, he's the only one that actually resurrected. but the other one didn't? Okay. Oh, what can you do? So now we have to sit here waiting until nothing happens. Then he gets up and dies again. That's right, just chill out right there, buddy. I know what Morrow's problem is, but there's literally nothing I can do about that. He's over encumbered and there's no, well, not over encumbered, but he's encumbered, so we'll delay her turn. So he's got a much more limited movement range than usual. I mean, I don't want him to be right here if something pops up behind him after this guy dies. Put him in the wrong spot. Somehow he ended up after. That's weird, but I'm okay with it. Great. He got to move. $113 damage. Can we do better? Ember, please. Seriously. What is that damage? His reflexes aren't high enough for that. What? Oh, if something's going to happen, I'd rather he be with everyone else, so... Seela, please. Thank you. Oh, goodness. Does anyone have anything interesting to say? Wow, that is some nice looking stuff he's got. No. Yes, yes, victory, despite not being useful in the slightest. There he is. Can we even... I mean, he did nothing the entire fight but stand there and be bait, but what good bait he was. Yes, he was. And having 522 health did not hurt at all. I need to stop rubbing my left eye. I mean, we can target him and click on him, but it does nothing. Let's get this farce over with. I've taken care of all of the I don't have enough cold iron for that. Ugh. Well, it appears this is going to be our stop for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves at everything you've seen here. We will be back tomorrow with yet another episode, and probably for the foreseeable future, because Elden Ring is shaping up to be one hot turd. At least for me. I mean, sure, there are people that can play it, but that doesn't make it okay for it to be released the way it was. Or the way it is, I should say. Nevertheless, I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. Wait, I said that already. It feels like I said that already. Anyway, I apologize for the entire first hour of the video being nothing but me complaining about, well, I wasn't exactly complaining, I was explaining the situation regarding Elden Ring. I'm going to try to figure out if I can record it or not, and if I can, whether or not its frame rate is stable enough to be acceptable as something I upload on the channel. So we're going to have to play this by ear. However it turns out, you guys will be the first to know. Well, second to know, but you know what I mean. And so, with all that said, we will see you next time.